In this video, we're going to explore how we can use these nice buttons here, create a nice chart effect here, so which would create a more interactive version of ChartJS, where we have a complete experience from a chart. You can see here the colors are starting to change, and you can see here that the label is matching as well. And if you click on Costa Coffee, we have a different coffee brand and showing the different sales amount here. And if we have Starbucks, you can see it becomes all green. Also different data, and of course the label matches as well. And this is just all by clicking on specific images here. And this is extremely fun because now you can start to learn how you can use more advanced ways to present your chart in a far more interactive way. So let's start and work on this. In this video, we're going to explore how we can create a very nice interactive chart showing the coffee sales. And what we're going to do is we're going to have three different brands: Starbucks, Costa Coffee, and the coffee bean and tea leaf branches. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in here, and basically what we want to do is the moment we select any specific logo, we will create a chart with it. So what we're going to do is here first we have a completely blank browser, and basically here this is our HTML file here, and I'm not going to use Bootstrap as I'm trying to move away from Bootstrap using more CSS, as CSS is so advanced these days, you can do really everything. So what we're going to do here is first of all is we're going to have a default set here. This is basically the default here, making sure that every element has these, and then we have here the root, and this is basically for our variables or for our colors, as you can see here. And if we open up our developer tab, and I will show you later on why we were using this, you can see here this is Starbucks logo, we have the coffee bean and tea, this is the Costa logo, the red or the brownish red color, and finally we have the brown color for the coffee bean and tea leaf. Alright, so let's start and work on very basics. So these are the three colors, and I'll show you later on how we're going to apply them here, because this is quite useful, especially if you want to change the color here to something else. Instantly everything else will change as well. So what we're going to do here first of all is we're going to just create a new section. I'm going to give this a section, and the section tag is being used for everything that is matched together with that. And in our case here, this section will be the chart box. So we're going to create here another div. And just to make sure, I will just put in here some extra space so we have more enters. Alright. So in here, we're going to create a div, and this div will have the class name chart box. So we're going to put in here the chart box, and basically in here we're going to put in the chart. Next, we will have is another section here, and this section is specifically the icons, or the thumbnails, what we can call it, because these will be small icons with the logos. So what we say here, another section, then we say div, and in this div we can say here logo box, for example. Alright, so when I do that and I press tab, instantly it jumps and shows here the text here. Alright, so in here we have here a unordered list, and this unordered list will consist of multiple list items. And to be exact, we will have 3 items here. So in here we create an image, and this image will have the source, and the source, I already saved these and you can find them as well. I will put a link in the description box where you can find these logos that you just can copy and paste them and put them in. So we have here 3 logos here, and we say a slash, or sorry, I store them in the image folder, and then I say here logo1.png. These are the small icons, and what we can do is here we can copy this 2 more times, and then say number 2 and number 3. So once I save this here and refresh, you can see here we have these 3 brands logos very nicely. So what we want to do is we want to push them down to the bottom, or not really to the bottom, but below the chart eventually, and then put them all nicely together. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to work with this and add up here the chart.js. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up a new tab and type in chartjs.org, and in here you can find here the latest one. We click on this, and this is ChartJS version 3. Let's click on this. You can see here we are now right now in ChartJS 3.2.1. All right. So I'm going to just copy and paste these things here. You can see here we have this. This is perfectly fine for me. I'm going to copy all of this code here. And once I copy this, I'm going to, first of all, I will just make some space here below. And after I will move stuff up. I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we have here all the JavaScript code. I will add up some indentations. And next I'm going to cut this and move this up into our chart box. In here, there we are. Next, I'm going to remove this width and height, and I'm going to set them in the CSS itself. So we can control from the CSS. Once we're done with this, what we need to do here is another JavaScript, and this JavaScript will be the chart.js library. So we can click here on getting started, and you can click here on getting started, and you see here the chart.js library, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to copy this one here. Once I copy this, paste this in here. So make sure the chart.js library is always before the JavaScript related with the chart.js variables and commands. Why? Or the reason why you need to do that is because this here contains certain variables that only is understood within here. And in ChartJS 3 you can remove this one, so we can just remove this here. If you want to remove it, it's up to you, doesn't matter, not really. Just shorter code, and that's fine. Alright, so we've got all of this here now. And what I want to do before I really want to reload my browser, I want to make sure that this chart is being set with a specific width. If not, it might start keep on expanding into infinity, which creates a error eventually, but slows down your computer. So I would recommend here just to put in here, and then we say chart box. That's our class. Chart box. And in the chart box, we're going to put in a width. So we say here width, well, maybe even better, max width. We can say here it's 800 pixels. So that we will give it as much as possible freedom to go along. And now if you go back here and going to the browser back, refresh, you can see now we have a chart, and I want to convert this to a line chart because right now it's a bar chart. And this chart has a maximum freedom. Even if it would be mobile responsive, it will still work accordingly. Alright, so this is perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just go in ChartJS and just remove or adjust a few items. A few things what I want to do is, because JavaScript has been updated to the one of the newest versions since 2015, we're using constant more commonly than variable, which is probably not that often used anymore. So convert these first. Alright, so once we did that, the next thing what I want to do is I want to adjust the background colors. I want to remove all of these excess values. And same here. And the reason why is we don't need so many items here. And next, I want to make this a line chart. This is a line chart here. So we have only one single line. If I refresh now, you can see now we have a single line here. We have these colors. And I want to extract the color. So the first color will be the Starbucks color, which is Starbucks green. So I'm going to copy this color. Make sure you have this color here. And later on I will show you how you use this here in the root. And here what I want to do is I want to assign here a specific color here and there. And we say here label, this will be Starbucks sales. Alright. Once we did that, refresh, we see Starbucks sales here. And we have here as well the nice Starbucks green color. Beautiful. So now we have a few items, and maybe we can put in here a slightly padding around here. You can see that this is so near to the side of the browser that I would say give it some space between. So we can say in here, in the canvas or in the chart box, we'll also say here padding. And then we can say here 10 pixels. That would be fine. There you are. So that looks a bit more appropriate. Alright, so now we are done with this part, and let's go back to our logo box here. Because what we really want to do is here is when we click on it, the colors or the matching item will be displayed. So how can we do this? Well, basically, first of all, we need to sort them out to a more better position. We want to put them in a inline, so that's what we're going to do now. So we say here, and then we're going to select first of all the class. Let's double check here. This is the class logo box, and here max width will be exactly the same thing. So we want to make sure this is maximum 800 pixels. Then what we will say is in the logo box that we will pinpoint the specific items here. This is the unordered list. So we say logo box UL, and then in here we can say display flex. And once we save this, we can refresh. You can see here now it starts to look way better. So now it's in the center. Here we can say here, or well, this is fine for now, but what I do want is in the logo box unordered list item, which is basically this item here. So as you can see, we're going from here, 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 and here we indicate the following. We'll say here the following. Oh, I will just put my mobile phone on silent. Sorry. All right. Sorry about that. So now what we're going to do is the following. We're going to have this one here. We're going to put in here the value. So what's the value we need to put in here, or what do we want to do here? First of all, we say list style, because we want to remove these bullet points here. List style, none. No need anything at all. Do we need anything else? Well, we can make some paddings here between. We could say yeah, padding. Then we just say here 5 pixels. So there's a padding of 5 pixels. There you are. Maybe we can do 10 pixels just for the sake of it. Alright, that's fine. So now what I want to do is, because you can see these icons are still, in my opinion, far too big. I want to make them smaller. So what we're going to do here now is, in here, we have the logo box, unordered list item, image. Alright, so what are we pinpointing here specifically? This one here. And then we can just say here, we can say the width will be maybe 75 pixels. Let's see if that is more than enough. 75 pixels or maybe 100 pixels. That would be a fair amount. Alright, 100. Well, I like 75 more, so let's do it on 75. There you are. So we have these here now. And what we can do here is, for example, what we need to do here as well is we want to make this clickable. But we want to give it a clickable effect. So what we want to do here, a hover function. So we say here as well, if we are hovering over on top of this, so we can say a dot logo. I'll just type it out. Unordered list item, image, column, hover. All right. So in here we say cursor, pointer. So once we did that, save that, and then you can see here. All right, you can see my mouse is becoming, or my cursor, it changes into a more clickable effect. And then next what we can do here is to give it maybe something more exciting, is to transform, or what is that? It's a specific one. Let me double check here. Alright, sorry, I was looking for the right word. That is transform, translate, y. Let me say here minus 15 pixels. I think that will be more than enough. So what happens is then when you hover over the item will pop up a bit. It will jump up slightly. So let's refresh here, and then, oh, did I save this correctly? Alright, refresh. And then as you can see, it does not do. Alright, sorry, this didn't work, and I figured already, I was researching it. So what we need to do is, we don't need to have the image, but we need to pinpoint the list item. That's basically what we're going to do here. So what I will do here is the following. I will just change this cursor. Just put it on the list item. And in the list item, we will have a few items. We say here, transition, where we say the second amount, so 0.5 seconds. And then this hover should be based on here. So let's copy all of this, put it in there, colon, hover, and then in here we put in the transitioning moment. So the moment we hover over it, we should have a transition. The same here with the hover, the cursor should be in here. Sorry, that can be removed. There we are. So once we have it, let's save this one more time and refresh, and then double check, did we save this correctly? Refresh. Did we have everything? Oh, sorry. Pixels. Minus 15 pixels. That's very important. Let me double check. Where are we now? We have this transition. We have that already up. We already did all of those. Transition, translate. This should be transform. Or this is transition. This is transform. There we are. If we save this, refresh, and there we are. Alright, sorry, that took a while, but as you can see, I'm also learning as well. But these kind of effects are very, very exciting to do and creates more interactivity. Alright, so what we want to do now is, now we're really done with this part, which is the CSS part. Let's go down and explore more the JavaScript version. So what we really want to do is the following. When I click on this, I should be able to see the Starbucks sales. When I click on Costa Coffee, I should see the Costa Coffee sales. And when I click on Coffee Bean, I should see their specific sales. So what are we going to do here is the following. We're going to create here a new function. And this function will be change chart or change chart sales, whatever you want. And in here, we're going to pinpoint a few items. Number one, what we're going to do is we're going to create or make sure that the color will be matching here, whatever color we select. Secondly, we will also adjust the text here. We have the Starbucks sales, but then if we click on this, we should be Costa sales or Costa Coffee sales. We click on this, and this will be the coffee bean and tea leaf sales. And then of course, finally, once we have the color and the text adjusted, we also have a chart with the data on it, and that needs to be solved as well. So let's start and do that immediately. So the first thing that we're going to do here is basically this. What we need to understand here is the moment we click on these items here, and we're going to give this a class, we'll say here, we can do it here on the list item, because that's basically the class. We can say here class, then I'll just give it data class, put it on all these items, and then we get the data class here. So what we say the following here is this. We can make here, we can say here constant data or data list, and this here is document dot query selector, and then in here we're going to select the class we want to pinpoint. Make sure it's single quotations, that's a more common structure for writing. So what is the class that we need to get? That's the data, so the data class. Alright, so once we have this, then the next thing we can do is the data li, which is pinpointing this specific item, will trigger a function here. And basically it's this one here. What I realize here is this would be here. Well, it doesn't matter really so much. I guess we can just simplify this even. We don't even need to do this, sorry. Just simplify this a bit. Then we say here, and then here we're going to pinpoint specific items. So what are we going to pinpoint here? Alright, so I realize that this is basically not necessary because we are in the function as well, and we can make it even easier. Alright, so let's do the easiest one. Sorry about this. So what are we going to do here? Well, let's get here. We're going to work from the chart.js. We say my chart data, then data sets, and then we're going to look at what's the items we want to pinpoint or adjust. So we know we have a color item, another parameter. So what's another parameter? We have besides color, we have label, and finally we have the data. That's basically what we need. So what we're going to do here is basically we get them here from the charts. So we go here from my chart, that's the first variable, which starts here, and then we go down to data, and then for example labels, or sorry, not label, but we need to label this one here. So we go from my chart data, data sets, label, so we can pinpoint here now what's the value we want. So let's copy this, and then you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Then we have data dot data sets, and remember this is an array, so this is the first array in here, which is index number 0. Alright, remember this. Oh, sorry, not here, but here. That's the data set. Alright. So then here we can say label. That label equal label. What I mean by that is this one. And later on we have to pinpoint them together. We can do exactly the same with color equal, and then we can select here what's the color we want. Well, we go here from my chart, data, data sets, and then background color, and also border color. If we want them both, the same color, they should be matching here. So say background color, and then this background color equals color. Then we do exactly the same, and we copy that, where we're going to pinpoint and reassign the color. And this is not the background color, but this is the border color, as you can see here. And once we did that, we have the last one, and what I will do is I will move this down. Alright, so it's color, label, and then data. Final one, the data. So where do we get the data? We can just copy all of this. Then we say here, data. And how do I know that? Well, we go from data sets to data. And then here, whatever the value would be, this would be data. Alright, so we have this, but of course we're not yet done, because now we need to connect this. How will we trigger this? I thought to work on it in JavaScript. This is why I was confused by that, but no need. We will just trigger it by an on click here on ChartJS, or sorry, on the list item here. So we say here on click, and here we say the function. So what is the function name? The function is change chart. I'm going to get that, put in here, and here we can put in the value. So what are the values? Well, to be specific, these items here. So color, label, and data. So the colors, I stored them here already here above, and you can use any other color, but basically these are the colors, and I realized we didn't use this yet for the background or something like that with this variable command, but I will show you later in a demo how to use that. Alright, so what we need is here is, let's get one of the colors first. So I will get the Starbucks color, and then we say here, change chart. We put in here single quotation. Why single quotation here? Because we're already using double quotations here. Then we say change chart, get the color, make sure there's a hashtag on there. Next, we have the label. What is the label? Well, this is Starbucks, so we say Starbucks sales. And finally, we have the data. So we'll just get this data here. We grab data and put it in here. Do you need quotations on the data? No, the data is an array of numbers, values. No need for quotations. It would make it a string, would be not recommended. Alright, so we've got all of this. We can just copy all of this and paste this in here, in the next one, and finally here. We have this, and then what we can do is we can get the next colors. So I'll get the second color, and we'll paste this in here. And what is this? This is Costa. So Costa coffee sales, and here we can make some extra numbers. What we can do here, 10, and then we have here, let's say 16, and then we have 5, 2, 1, and then finally 0. That's fair enough. Finally here we have the next item, which is the coffee bean and tea leaf. The coffee bean and tea leaf, and then here we can do, for example, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. Alright, so once we save this all, we have all of this, and we can refresh, and you can see now when we click on this, oh, of course, why it doesn't work, I realize here we're missing here a function. What we're missing here is the update command from my chart. So we do my chart dot update, put it in here, save this. Once we do this, and then we start to update, as you can see, it works. And you might say, oh, we forgot here the background color, so that's what we have to still do. But we still see some tiny issues here, which is the colors are not really changing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab this one here, put the color in, alright, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what we're going to do, how to solve this issue. So if you click now on Costa here, if you hover over it, it becomes red. And then if you click on this, it should become brown, but you can see this one here is still green, so it maintains. So there's some errors in here. The reason why this happens is because we have here a color array. So it's an array, and that needs to be removed. The reason why it's an array is that it can use some fancy commands in here, which we don't need to use right now. And basically what it is, they have like those alternate coloring effects, I have videos on this as well, where you can see how it works. And that's not necessary, because we want only one single value or one single color and force them all to change only with that color. So once we click on this again, now you can see everything turns red here beautifully. If we hover over it, it stays red. And then if we move on here, everything becomes brown beautifully, and that's exactly what we want. So this will help you to play around with it. So let me do some extra items here. So imagine we have a item here. Let's put in here, we can put it here at the border down, or down at the bottom. We have another item. And this item is, we can put it in here, a div. And if this div will be a class color. And in here, we only just put in a color. So what we're going to do with this color class, we're going to give it a class, a dot color. Then we say here with 100% with, all right, sorry. And then we say padding 20 pixels, or let's say 10, up and down, that's fine. And then we say here background. And then we can use here variable, and in the variable we can put in the color code that we use here. So we can select this, and there you are. So once we save this, now the color will become green here below. As you can see, this is nice. So this would be also, if you want to have color number 2, save that, refresh, and there you are. So this is how you can use some extra color effects on your website with a quick variable on this. So this is really completely how we have everything. If you have any comments or questions regarding to this, put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in ChartJS, check out in the description box the link directing to my ChartJS course, where you can learn everything about ChartJS. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.